lead custodian.
She's okay. So per the calculations is 63. So what's the argument here? If she's 63, what's like? What you explain to us? Isn't that beyond the pension age? I'm just asking.
Please read the headline.
Explain from the law.
The custodian newspaper, they say that fearless, fair, and reliable. It is sold for 4 Ghana cedis. Today's own is a Friday edition, 28th March 2025, volume 10/0027. On the front page, CJ asks Mahama for petitions seeking her dismissal. Banner headline: Asefwa Osewusu filed injunctions against the CJ's removal. It comes with the pictures of the president, the chief justice, Vincent Eko Asefwa, who is an applicant, and then Gov't. You know that he's Mr. Asefwa's lawyer. Also on the front page, there's Fidelity Bank promoted SME's growth in 2024 with 427 million Ghana cedis. The back page, they say gas abba.
All right, so sticking with the story concerning the CJ, this one is captured on 3news.com. CJ's removal, leave the petitioners alone, Thaddeus Sori tells NPP MP. Now, legal practitioner Thaddeus Sori has questioned MP Vincent Asefwa's claims about the Chief Justice's removal petition, urging him to let the constitutional process unfold. Now, renowned private legal practitioner Thaddeus Sori has called on Old Tafo MP Vincent Asefwa to refrain from interfering in the petition process, seeking to remove Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. In a legal opinion titled "To Thine Own Self Be True, Let the Law Work," Sori questioned Asefwa's basis for claiming that the Chief Justice was not consulted before President John Dramani Mahama forwarded the petitions to the Council of State. Now, I'm reading here from that opinion. It says, how did Mr. Asefwa within just one day ascertain that the Chief Justice was not consulted before the petitions were referred to the Council of State? Did the Chief Justice personally inform him that she was not consulted? Asefwa, who has filed a suit at the Supreme Court challenging the President's referral of the petition, argues that the Chief Justice should have been consulted before the process began. However, Sori contends that Article 1466 of the 1992 Constitution clearly states that the President must act in consultation with the Council of State when handling petitions for the removal of a Chief Justice. Sori further dismissed Asefwa's claims, arguing that the law explicitly outlines the correct procedure which the President has followed. So it's been interesting, gentlemen, to see how this is now, progressing, the twists and turns. Are we surprised, though, by any of the, shall I say, actors involved in the moving parts?
No, surprised? No. I mean, if the Constitution seems to have a lot of these openings, gray areas or blank spaces, then people want to explore it and see how far it goes, what it means for the future of these cases happening maybe in the next couple of years. It's a good thing to seek proper interpretation, but looking at the nature of the thing, it is interesting what is about to happen. So Ebenezer Asefwa and then also they have filed injunctions, and that injunction is likely to be heard at the Supreme Court.
Right.
The Chief Justice is still leading the panel. So we understand that she will choose who to sit on the case, who to hear the case, unless I'm wrong. But if that is what will happen, it will be interesting. Who will she choose to hear the case?
Okay.
Humanly,
you are not wrong. The Chief Justice has the administrative responsibility of a panel.
Six, let's hear you in the mic, please.
Put the microphone in your mouth.
It's not standing. You see, I don't know what is wrong with this. When you want it to stand, it falls.
I think you might have to get a bit closer, otherwise we can't hear you so well.
That's the word. It's weak. Okay. It's wobbly.
So Helen, it's interesting. Who will she choose to hear the case? What verdicts will they arrive at? Now, we understand the president can also, by a warrant, ask the Chief Justice to stay away until all of this goes over. If the president decides or is able to use that option, what does the optics say? What will people communicates the president's maybe legal action to mean, and what consequence will it have on the country's entire judicial system? What are judges and lawyers, the people the Chief Justice watches over, how are they reacting to this news? I think going forward, it will be interesting. It will be interesting to know how the things will pan out.
Absolutely. Well, it's something that we're going to be exploring further this morning right here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. So don't move an inch. We'll catch you up to speed and break down some of the legalities. Yes, Michael.
For me, I think that all of these appointing, firing, and petition thing underscores the need for us to review how we approach some of these things. I think that we should move, especially now that we are doing a constitutional review, some of these things have to be given a second thought or a second look, because I think that we all know that beyond all of this also is the whole politics of it. People want their person in office and all of that. That's why I think that going forward, institutions like the Ghana Police Service, the Judiciary, the Ghana Education Service, Ghana Health should appoint their own bosses. I think that they should elect rather their own bosses, copying what the UK does with its police service. I think that when the professionals themselves handle their business, it enhances their autonomy, number one. Number two, it takes away all this political theatrics.
You think that would eliminate political theatrics?
I think so, because you see, there's a lot to do, and here we are going back and forth about remove me, don't remove me, and petition and things like that. But
sounds like you're actually bored of this back and forth that we always have.
There are more important things too. You see, right now, Mr. President has to sign the e-levy, but he's busy asking people to form committees to come and solve. But there are more
investors are waiting.
Also,
my point?
There are more pressing things to do. So let's move on and let systems take care of themselves. So if, assuming the way the Ghana Bar Association would take care of its members, if there's a concern, let them sort it out and leave the presidency out of it. That's
so
what
that
I
we
think.
Can take care of the more
important things.
Issues.
Because if you see right now, to choosing who becomes IGP, the whole back and forth, leave Mr. President to focus on running the country and let the system take over.
Running the country.
I think that you see, it's the same way.
You seem to be describing some acts of or exercise of executive power as unnecessary, irrelevant.
I'm saying that, in my opinion,
as not important.
I didn't say that. In
fact, on the contrary, what he's saying is that it is too important for some of these issues to be at the forefront. That if on the one end the judiciary has their self sorted, then in terms of Galamsey, president can focus on fighting that 1 week straight. Nobody's bringing him anything to sign, anything like that.
The appointment of an Inspector General of Police is important to the fight against Galamsey.
That is not in contention at all. But to the extent that now there's a lot of to the extent that now not only it's not even that it's a case where it's straightforward and it's just because there's so much conversation. This person says, I challenge you, I don't challenge you, I stop you, I don't stop you, injunction. All of that goes towards time wasting.
Because the Constitution has given enormous powers to
exactly
the
what
I am saying, which is why I'm saying that all of this
that if my party wins the election, I take it all. I decide.
You are actually exactly on the same page as Michael. Let's talk money matters again.
If you don't say it in his own words, it's not the same.
The CJ's issue will be dissected, slice and dice right here on Sunrise. Now let's talk money matters because, guys, I don't know about you, but the economy is still biting me. It is still biting me, chewing me, swallowing me. Now, this one again on 3news.com. We're taking decisive action to curb unnecessary expenditures, Finance Minister tells World Bank. And of course, just recently, you know that some taxes were abolished. We're still waiting for Mr. President to sign so that investors can, recoup all their monies so that when you send your mom some money, that e-levy. Guys, if we were to quantify all the e-levy you've paid from 2022 up until now, Sixtus, how much do you think you'd get? All the e-levy monies you've paid since 2022, since its implementation, March.
The 1 CD,
the 1 CD, 5 CD, 12 CD, 1 CD. Yes. If we combine all of it, how much do you think you can recoup?
The painful part is when the e-levy is even higher than the transfer charge.
I'm telling you. Hey!
But all of this shows you how creative, or what's the word? resilient Ghanaians can be. Charlie, people found way. Oh.
I mean, there was no other option. Find way or die. Because what are you going to do?
Seriously.
What are you really going to do? But the perspectives have been very interesting in terms of, the kind of economic impact the scrapping of these taxes will have on the pocket. So, I mean, you recall that when a levy was introduced, the government at the time said we're going to recoup 6 billion Ghana cedis in 2020. We recouped, I think, 529 million. The next year we targeted 2 billion. We got about 1 billion. But listening to Honorable Mahama Yarika on the floor of Parliament say that those monies then go back into the pockets of the everyday Ghanaian. That money can be put to use.
Go and use the money to marry.
Crosby, you want to marry?
No, it's what Mahama Yarika said.
If we combine all the e-levy you've paid, you wait for me. If we combine all the e-levy you've paid, can you use it to marry?
Oh, no, I can't.
Oh, something small?
Oh, it's small.
Maybe 10 guests?
I'll go, that's a guy.
We'll have a gobe wedding. It is possible.
Okay, Helen, I was looking for something. I think I found it. On what we should do about the powers of the president to appoint almost everybody, including the people who man the local latrines. When power changes hands, those are always the first targets.
I'm telling you,
I don't know why.
They'll go and either lock it, somebody will go and break the locks or put new locks.
So I'm picking this from the Justice Fiajo Commission, the Constitution Review Commission report, and the subsequent white paper that was issued on that report and its recommendation.
Right.
Under the executive president, there was an issue about the president's power of appointment. And the paper said, government accepts the recommendation of the CRC that the Commissioner for Human Rights and Administrative Justice and the deputies, the chairman and other members of the National Commission for Civic Education, the chairman and deputy chairman and other members of the Electoral Commission, Auditor General, chairman, members of Independent Emoluments Commission be appointed by the president in consultation with the Council of State. Government accepts the recommendation of the CRC to resolve the contradictory constitutional provisions on the appointment of Assembly's Common Fund Administrator. Government notes, whereas by virtue of Article 71, the President acting in consultation with Council of State appoints the District Assembly. Okay, goes down. Okay. Government notes with satisfaction. And these are the views of government as expressed on the recommendations put out then by that particular commission. It says that the following are therefore deemed to be political appointees for the purposes of this office. Persons holding office under the Presidential Office Act, ministers and deputies, regional deputy ministers, special assistants, aides to the president, and all that. Non-career ambassadors, high commissioner, persons appointed by president or minister of state as members of statutory. I'm looking for the police service and all of that, which I know were all captured under that work that was done by the commission. So we may not really have to even start all over. Some of those recommendations had already been made. We probably just have to pick up the document, dust it off, and ask ourselves whether we want to continue with this, implement it, or we should move on to a different thing.
All right. Sixtus, any more for us on there?
No, ma'am.
All right. Interesting perspectives indeed. Again, today, stick with us. Let's expand that further. Now, let's talk money matters again. This is on 3news.com. Michael, why are you laughing?
Oh, the moment you gave him the time to talk to, he wrapped up.
I like he was concise and succinct. That's why I love Sixtus. Now, the finance minister, Dr. Casiel Atto-Forson, has said that the government, and small digression, we used to call Dr. Forson Casiel. Now we know it's Casiel. He says the name is in the Bible. It's a biblical name. I never knew. It's a nice. Thank you, producer Casiel. Thank you from the back end. He's giving me direction. Dr. Casiel Atto-Forson has said that the government has taken decisive moves to strengthen fiscal discipline. He outlines a series of cost-cutting measures aimed at reducing government expenditure and ensuring prudent financial management. Now, speaking at a meeting with World Bank Division Director Robert Talia Rico O'Brien and his team, Dr. Forson reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to fiscal prudence, particularly within the framework of the country's IMF-supported program. Now, acknowledging the financial challenges of the past year, including the struggle to achieve even a 0.5% primary surplus, he emphasized that the government remains resolute in maintaining fiscal stability. I'm quoting him here. He says, as a government, we're taking decisive action to curb unnecessary expenditures across all sectors. Dr. Forson stated, leading by example, I have made it clear that the era of free, non-essential conference travel is over. Delegation sizes will significantly be reduced, with 3 officials now expected to accomplish the work of 10, ensuring greater efficiency without compromising productivity. You know, this is music to my ears, but of course we have to see it in action. A lot has been said about the scrapping of or the abolishment of certain taxes, and government is constantly being asked, where is the money going to come from? And I think if you listen to government actors, they are pointing to curbing wastage. They are pointing to stopping corruption. And so not just about taxes or, you know, just revenue generation, but actually the existing reasons for which we lose money. Government says that they are going to be watching that. Were you gentlemen concerned about the abolishment of taxes? Were you asking those questions as well? Where is government going to get the money from? Sixtus?
Yes, I have asked those questions. But we also know that if the taxes have become burdensome, if the taxes are beginning to cripple SMEs and we the people who are struggling to survive, then it cannot be allowed to stay. And government has to find a lot more creative ways of raising more money than to always directly taxing the people. So yes, we are happy. We are worried about the loopholes created and asking ourselves how government is going to make it up.
Right.
Yes, but that is the job of government. That is why government was elected. That is why we delegate our authority to a particular group of people to say that handle the affairs of our country for us within the spirit of time. So
because we all can't go to Jubilee House.
We all can be in Jubilee
House. We have
a
few of you there because you came and told us that you
are the best managers of the economy.
Vote for me, I know what I'm going to do.
You have the perfect solutions for all of our problems. So yes, you have the opportunity, and we all agree that 1, 2, 3, 4 taxes are not good for us as a people. They are not helping the ordinary people. And there's an observation that's been made long ago that the lists on the table are always the most or heavily taxed, which shouldn't be the case.
Right.
We've had conversations about property rates, which is not being collected. So you find that the rich who are having all 27 houses at places, they are the ones not paying the taxes or rates on their property. So are there other ways that government could ensure that it makes money for the public purse than to directly tax somebody who has earned something small and wants to send some to his father or his mother? They say, okay, the one you are sending to your father to, I want to pick some of it.
I want to take it. All the while we're seeing that there's a basket full of holes and the money is just
wasting
going to
away
wastage,
somewhere.
Corruption. I think this is quite interesting. So it's practicalized here by Dr. Forson. He says, for example, when it comes to some of these travels, he's now going to be sending 3 instead of 10. That means in previous times there were 7 extra mouths to feed, 7 extra per diem, 7 extra airplane tickets, 7 extra allowances to give, and so on and so forth.
7
Michael,
extra experience.
For me, I think
7
that,
extras.
Overall, from a finance perspective, this government appears to be somewhat ticking the right boxes. I think their efforts at expenditure cuts, wastage cuts, has been quite commendable. And you also see, on the other hand, some attempts they are making to increase revenue. But it will take some time for us to really begin to see the impact of some of these things they are trying to do. If you were at the SOE meeting with the president was there, he sounded the caution that any SOE who is not performing, you will be sanctioned, you risk losing your job. These are the kind of things we want to hear that inspires hope in the economy. Because that these state-owned enterprises, if they were doing well, they would remit some money to government. They would pay some dividend to government because government is a key stakeholder.
That's right.
But these entities that are supposed to be giving government money are taking from government to make up for their losses. So it's good to see that there's some efforts to undertake some reforms in those spaces to sort of seal all the basic loopholes that we are seeing in the economy. It's early days, but at least we can see some relative stability.
The optics look good for you so far.
So far, so good. We are just hoping that the biggest thing is that will the government be consistent? And that's the concern of a lot of people. We've seen what they are doing on the T-bill market. Some people say it's for the optics, but these things also have a direct impact on the economy. So let's see how it goes. We just hope that they will be consistent. But for now, I think so far so good.
That's your rating. Yeah. So far so good. Crosby, what say you? Money matters abound. The taxes haven't been abolished. Does it concern you where government will get the money from?
Not at all. For them to make these promises, and indeed not only for them, all financial experts in the country, they have always maintained from time immemorial that there are various ways we can make money in Ghana without necessarily taxing the people. Yes, we'll have to tax a few things, but there are various ways. Yesterday, we spoke about the growth and sustainability levy, for instance, where you're asking these mining companies to pay 3 more percent. It's just one of the various ways that we can make money, because these people are making huge profits from the work that they are doing in Ghana. There's a scare that it could, sack investors and all of that. Fair enough. But there's also the deal that these people know what they can get in Ghana. And for a very long time, we seem not to mind them. Make your money and go away. So now we want part of your money. If you know how much Ghana is worth for you in terms of the work you're doing, you stay and then you pay Ghana what is due Ghana. There are various ways where the country can make money. So cutting these taxes, not a problem at all. In fact, it will ease the burden on we the ordinary Ghanaians, and then we'll use the 2 billion that Mahama Yaga is saying that we should
to marry.
Yes,
I think so. I think that's
2 billion to marry.
Yes, that's the e-levies 2024-25 projection. That would have been how much would have been likely to have been accrued in e-levies pots, but now it can go back into our various pockets. Sixtus is already married, so I don't know what he will use his cards for. No, you don't want Crosby to marry. Yes. So Sixtus will maintain the marriage. Michael will maintain the marriage. Crosby and I will use it to get married, not to each other, to other individuals.
If you decide to each other, what's the problem?
There's no problem. Crosby, what say you?
Crosby? No, there's a problem.
Hey, please, this between Crosby.
No, it's not.
Hello, let me speak to Crosby. Crosby.
Play music.
DJ Appiah is here.
Jamila too is on the stream, is listening to this. Jamila, you are still in charge. I am rooting for you.
This is for Crosby. Please tell Jamila that I've been training since Fit Start started. Ask them when the treadmill was here. I was training.
I like it when colleagues from the same office marry. Do you know why?
No.
The contribution is once.
Hey, Mr. Ogbodu, the way you're talking is like you are perceiving some office romance here and there.
I'm wishing you all the best.
I hope he's not already in there.
I'm a married man. A responsible
Let me tell you, I've said this many a time. Don't indulge in office romance.
Yes, please.
Listen to wisdom. It is very, very, very unadvisable.
Helen, you can't force us.
DJ Appiah is here.
Helen,
yes, please.
Let me take you back to the document that I was reading.
Yes, please.
And this is actually, let me give you the title of it. It's the white paper on report of the Constitution Review Commission presented to the President. And I said this is the report of the commission that was chaired by Professor Albert Fiajo. Professor Raymond Atuba was on that commission. I think this was a 2010
That's right.
Constitution Review Commission. Page 20 of that document talks about the Chief Justice, removal of the Chief Justice, and all of that. So if you go to page 20, it's titled The Chief Justice. And issue 2 And this would address an issue that Crosby raised earlier, and I responded to him. It says that empaneling powers of the Chief Justice. Government accepts the recommendation that the current constitutional provision be retained. Government also endorses the following recommendation of the CRC, that where the Chief Justice has a personal interest in a case, he should cede the authority to empanel to the most senior justice of the Supreme Court.
Crosby, that's your question being answered.
Yes. Yeah. But mind you, these were recommendations that were made by the commission.
Okay, right. So this is not, of course.
The advice.
This is the advice, okay, that was given, of course.
In this regard, government is of the view that it is the constitution that should be amended to achieve the desired effects and not the administrative change as recommended because of the decision in Akufo-Addo and Kwasi. Now, the Chief Justice should adopt guidelines elaborating mechanisms, including the use of electronic methods of empaneling the Supreme Court to ensure transparency in that respect. Issue 3, removal of the Chief Justice from office. Government accepts the recommendation that the Constitution be amended to explicitly require that a prima facie case be established as a prerequisite for the commencement of any proceedings for the removal of the Chief Justice. Now, when we had a conversation, Crosby, we're drawing a comparison between the removal of the Chief Justice and removal of other justices of the Supreme Court.
Courts.
And in the case of other justices, you recall that the Constitution says there has to be established a prima facie case. In the case of the Chief Justice, that was not stated. So the question is asked whether the committee that is set up in consultation with the Council of State is supposed to first of all establish that prima facie case before it then goes on to look into the merits of, or should the president, on receipt of the petition on his own, establish such before then constituting the committee in consultation with the Council of State. So that issue has actually been addressed by this report that was given 10 or 25 years 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
So actually the documents are there, the recommendations are there. We wouldn't have been where we are today, we wouldn't have been having these discussions if we implemented the recommendations of the commission at the time.
Picking up from what Sixtus is saying, that the documents are there, we have seen the missing containers. So we are seeing them small. The ECG missing containers. We have found 40 at Mount.
I see.
So, is it the one belonging to the Indian?
Yes.
Because there's also a news.
Belonging to the Indian.
The
one sold to the Indian. It does not belong to him.
In fact, when you go on 3 News, if you go on 3news.com, there are two different headlines there. So you've got ECG missing containers, 40 retrieved from an Indian man, claims he bought them. Energy Minister reveals. Right underneath that story, you have 8 Chinese, 1 Ghanaian arrested over ECG containers. That's why I started this morning by saying that there are different nationals we're told involved in this saga. So we have to keep our eye on this particular one to see how it all unfolds. We got 1 Indian, 8 Chinese, and 1 Ghanaian. It's becoming a United Nations issue. So
the next thing we want to hear is the arrest of the people who sold it to them. That's what we want to hear.
We want to find out.
No, definitely.
The
definitely.
minister says when they start prosecuting, don't come and say they are witch hunting.
All right. Well, DJ Appiah is here. We'll take a quick music break and then we'll get onto the phone lines. We call it Community Voices. Sixtus Michael Crosby, grateful.
Time now.